So back in 1954, at the suggestion of Texas Senator at the time, Lyndon B. Johnson, an amendment was included in the Internal Revenue Code that prohibits certain nonprofits, including all churches, from endorsing or opposing political candidates. The amendment, which still stands today, was enacted without any discussion or debate. And now national religious broadcasters, in an effort to defend the free speech of churches silenced by the Johnson Amendment, has filed a legal challenge to the legislation. Per the organization's press release, it reads in part, "We believe that all nonprofits should have the constitutional right to freely express their point of view on candidates, elections, and issues on the ballot. Our challenge to the Johnson Amendment is about securing the future of free expression for all Americans, particularly those standing in the pulpits." For more, let's welcome in the president and CEO of National Religious Broadcasters, Troy Miller. Troy, great to have you here today. So why is it important to you and the National Religious Broadcasters that you are free to endorse a candidate?
Well, look, our members, it's important to us personally, but it's also important to our over 1,500 members, which include a lot of pastors across this country in the pulpits. We're the only group that's really marginalized and looked at as not being able to do this. And the whole reason behind our lawsuit is, if you look at this, a number of nonprofit newspapers have endorsed candidates, a number of nonprofit churches, liberal progressive churches have endorsed candidates. None of them have come under IRS scrutiny. But over the last several years, many churches, evangelical churches who've done endorsements or simply had pastors had candidates in to pray for them, have come under IRS scrutiny, and we just think that's wrong.
Yeah, and if you look at the last census back in 2020, about 25% of Americans identify as evangelicals. How important is their vote in the next 50 days?
Oh, their vote is extremely important to the direction and the governance of this country. You know, the one thing we're worried about is evangelicals are not engaged enough, but they are getting engaged this election. I think that the COVID time, with churches that were shut down and with the weaponization of government that's going on, and with the collusion of government and big tech, social media companies that have silenced a lot of the messages and a lot of the issues that are concerning to us, has really energized Christian voters to get out.
Yeah, you mentioned the issues that are important to you. We heard a lot about abortion in the presidential debate on Tuesday. Of course, a lot of questions asked about that. The Democratic Party was always the pro-choice party, but it seems like in recent years, they've become the pro-abortion party. Why do you think that is? And why are we hearing so much about abortion and not necessarily pro-choice from these people?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And to think that the Democratic Party today simply wants to go back to a Roe environment is wrong, because under Roe, states had the right to restrict abortion. But now the Democratic Party wants to take all of those restrictions away. And they've really moved the needle on their end, not closer to rare, but now to whenever and for whatever reason. And I don't know, you know, this is a party that just simply doesn't respect life.
Is there a chance in the next 53 days that you guys will win and you will be able to endorse a candidate and to ratify this amendment?
No, this is not going to reach the court before that time. And we didn't file this in to affect this election at all.
Okay.
We filed it for the future of nonprofits and pastors to be able to exercise their First Amendment rights.
Well, hopefully you and the pastors, you said 1,500, of course, their voices should be heard this election. And hopefully, again, they all get out and vote. Again, 25% of Americans identify as evangelicals. Pretty incredible. Thank you so much, Troy, for being here.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
it.